The Republicans lost a special election in an upstate New York district. And it was a Biden plus 1.5 district. So if there was a red wave, you would expect the Republicans to win. And as far as I understand it, the polls had the Republican up 5 to 10 points. Uh-oh.
Not quite sure if he left. He's still there. NBC News national political correspondent Steve Kornacki.
We're going to talk about the
Steve,
student loan
good morning.
cancellation
Good to see you. If you're
bit.
still up, thanks for the extra coffee this morning. Why exactly are we so focused on this 19th district, a special election in upstate New York?
Yeah, Willie, good morning to you. Well, the reason is because we've been asking a question for the last 2 months, and I think certainly triggered by that Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade, but also for some other factors. We've been asking the question of whether the political climate broadly, nationally, has shifted away from one where the Republicans were in a strong, maybe even dominant position heading into the midterm elections to one where it's perhaps more neutral and Democrats have opportunities at the Senate and potentially House level that, frankly, not even Democrats thought they would have a few months ago. So the backdrop for this special election, you can see the final result here. Pat Ryan, the Democrat, going to defeat Mark Molinaro, the Republican, the margin just over 2 points. This is a classic swing district that Ryan did this in. In the 2020 presidential election, Joe Biden had carried this by 2 points. Take it back to 2016. Donald Trump won here by 7. If I could extend this further out to 2012, you'd see that Barack Obama won this district in 2012. And this is a district that didn't just have that Obama, Trump, Biden pattern in between in the midterm elections. This has typically featured the kind of backlash that favors the out-of-power party. What I mean by that is Obama won in 2012 here. In 2014, it elected a Republican congressman. Trump won in 2016. In 2018, it elected a Democratic congressman. Biden won in 2020. You get a special election. You look at the national polls. Joe Biden's approval rating is in the low 40s. Voters are very sour when it comes to their mood on the economy, when it comes to their mood on inflation, optimism about the future of the country. These are all supposed to be the basic ingredients that create a very favorable climate for the opposition party. And Mark Molinaro was considered to be one of the strongest recruits that Republicans had in a race like this. He's a
let me guess. He was a milquetoast, moderate sounding dipshit from Wall Street. Yeah, really strong, chat. That's what people want. They want themselves a fucking right-wing dipshit who's from Wall Street. All right, hold on. Let's see what he did. He was okay, he's just a politician. He's just a centrist Republican.
County executive in Dutchess County. That's one of the biggest parts of the district. He ran for governor of New York in 2018, actually carried this same district by double digits over Andrew Cuomo when he ran for governor in 2018. And Republicans poured a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of resources into trying to get this victory for Molinaro and to make a statement that they were in a position of strength heading into the midterm. Instead, as we say, Pat Ryan ends up exceeding the Joe Biden number and winning this district outright. That's not a result you're supposed to see if and when a major wave is forming. And if you put this in broader context, why I say we've been...
And by the way, chat, this is a very important point because in 2018, when there were special elections, that's when you got those huge wave elections where Democrats were winning races they had no business winning. For example, that Connor Lamb race. Why Connor Lamb thought he was some sort of political dynamo is he won a special election in a very Trump plus 15 seat. So if Republicans are losing seats that Trump won in 2016 and was within a point or two in 2020, that's not a wave. That's not how it feels during a wave. So this is disastrously bad for the Republicans. Like, if you're a Republican or you're a conservative right now and you're looking at this result, you're thinking, are we going to win the House? We might not win anything. And I don't think the Dem leadership figured anything out. I think they got rescued by the overstep of a far-right Supreme Court. The Democratic leadership did not make good moves. They never make good moves. They haven't passed a Voting Rights Act. They didn't ban gerrymandering. They didn't admit DC as a state. They haven't done anything savvy. What they did is stand around as the Republicans made themselves even more extreme and go, people rejected the Republicans. They're voting against Republicans. But here's the thing, and this is the moment. There is enough pressure because of people like you out there, chat, because of DSA, because of the progressive organizations, that the Democratic Party in those safe seats is starting to get way more left. And if enough people win, like, for example, John Fetterman, Mandela Barnes, the dam is going to start to break. They're going to have to start doing shit. They might actually have to do Biden's platform. Public option, free childcare, free pre-K, free community college, a civilian climate corps, massive, they might have to actually do shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Voting rights, protecting LGBT rights, protecting. Oh, no. We might have to actually do shit. Oh, fuck. Raise taxes on the. Oh, no. Now, I'm not trying to say that any of this is socialism, but it's at least Keynesianism. It's at least New Deal-ish kind of liberalism. Something for climate change. Now, that's why these progressive races are so important. Because the larger that progressive bloc gets, the harder it is to sit there and do nothing. And in the Senate, with John Fetterman and Mandela Barnes walk in, and Raphael Warnock defends himself, that's going to be a totally different type of Senate than we have now, with Manchin and Sinema being pivot points. I'm sure someone else will pop up, Dianne Feinstein, Chris Coons, somebody else will pop up to try to block shit. But the honest to God truth is, they're going to block stuff that's further to the left than what's getting blocked now. You can't be a California senator and try to block the $50 minimum wage. It's not happening, man. Josh Riley is running this seat in the general against Molinaro. He is more progressive, union backed, just won the primary against the beef farmer. Molinaro. Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Immigration is not even a topic anymore. People in my situation have no hope. Immigration is definitely a fucking topic. That's another thing. There's no shot Herschel Walker wins against Warnock. Actually, that's the race I'm the most concerned about, because Georgian white people are incredibly racist. The reason why I'm much more concerned about Herschel Walker winning, because Georgia whites are very racist. And what do I mean by that? They're very conservative. A college-educated white person in Georgia is not like a college-educated white person in Pennsylvania. They're not. They're not the same. And I'm not saying the college-educated white person isn't problematic or racist in any way. I'm saying overtly racist educated whites are much more common in the South. So in midterms, when those are the type of people that turn out, Republicans are going to have much more odds of picking up seats in the South. If you were to say, what would a race be that would surprise you for the Republicans to pick up, but not that much, it would be in Georgia, unfortunately. And I also think Mandela Barnes is a tough race because he's running against an incumbent. In fact, I think Fetterman's race is tough. I don't want you to rest on your laurels and think Fetterman's just going to win. Okay? It's Pennsylvania. So, you know, we have a possibility of really changing the Senate in a big way. And you know what? I'll give Nancy Pelosi credit. She passed a lot of shit. She did her job and passed a lot of shit out of that house. Now, maybe that stuff passed because they knew it was going to get blocked, but they did pass a lot out of the house. If just voting on legislation that has no chance of making law was all you needed to do, Nancy Pelosi passed a lot of good shit. Now, you don't know about it because it has no chance to make law, so it doesn't fucking matter. It's a messaging bill. That's why forcing the vote on something doesn't fucking matter most of the time. And people are saying, Mike, they're racist, but Herschel Walker is black. He is, let's just say that there's a certain type of person who has existed in our society of America that Southern whites, even though they're black, understand that those persons represent the continuation of white supremacy. All right? Now, we're not going to use any phrases to describe this phenomenon. We're not going to use any pithy phrases to describe this phenomenon. But we're going to describe what I'm talking about. All right. You know what I mean.
Asking this question about whether the national political climate is changing. This is the most dramatic data point we have that I think it is. But just take a look at what's been happening over the last few months. And I can draw a line right here. These are other House special elections that have been playing out this spring and this summer. And I draw this line because this is where on the calendar the Supreme Court decision that overturned Roe v. Wade fell. You see, just before that decision in South Texas, there had been a special election. It's a district that Biden had carried by 4 points. Remember, we were talking a lot about this heavily Hispanic district. There had been a swing towards Republicans. And in fact, the Republican candidates actually won by a margin of 4 points in that district. That's where we were before the Supreme Court decision on Roe v. Wade. Here are the 4 special elections that have taken place now since that decision. And what you could see is coming into last night, you had 2, one in Nebraska, one in Minnesota, that had been held in districts that Trump won by double digits. The Republicans won them, but by about 10 points less, 6 points less than Trump did. Democrats were saying these were signs of new momentum for them after that Supreme Court decision because their candidates had so overperformed Joe Biden. They said it's a sign that there was more enthusiasm for Democrats. And then you got last night a really clean test in a classic swing district. Democrats won it outright. By the way, there was another special election in New York last night. Didn't get a lot of resources, didn't get a lot of money, a lot of attention here. It's a district that's really just kind of going away, changing in the fall, but they had a special election anyway. Trump won this district by double digits. A Republican won last night, but again, movement of 5 points in the Democratic direction. We've had 4 special elections held since that Supreme Court decision. In all 4 of them, the needle has moved in the Democrats' direction, and the Democrats have won the swing district outright. And I just think it's dramatic if you compare that to 2018. This is what special election.
And then, by the way, chat, look, you can see the wave. You can see the wave of 2018. These were the special elections of 2017 and 2018. This is why I wanted to show you this Karnacki video, because I think this is a very important. If you want to be in electoral politics and be like an elections nerd, this is one of those data points that is very suggestive, because we live in a national political environment now. All politics is national, right? It's just about the composition of the electorate in your district. But the type of conservative, college-educated white person is way more common in the South than a conservative, college-educated white person in the North. So you have these kind of like, but these types of voters are not concerned about local issues. They're concerned in a national-facing politics. Because everybody's watching Fox News or MSNBC or watching a national Twitch stream like mine. My Twitch stream, I'm Mike from PA, but my commentary is the international politics and national politics. It is not hyper-focused on the Pennsylvania 22nd district, as an example, right? I know about it from my own personal career, and I can tell you about it and why it's really exciting that they just elected a socialist there. I believe that's the district. There was just another state, a socialist elected in a state in an open seat in Pennsylvania at the state legislative level. Got another socialist, knocked another socialist in. So that knowledge, now when you look at these special elections, that all politics is national, if you see, look, you have this big, almost completely for the Democrat. The exception were the Georgia 6th, the Utah 3rd. For their own reasons. Namely, Trump didn't do that well in 2016 in Utah because Evan McMullin ran, right? So a lot of the Evan McMullin voters, the McMuffin voters, were GOP voters who just didn't like Trump. They were conservative Mormons who believed in you gotta act conservative. You can't just spout it. So they didn't like Trump. So they voted for McMullin. Trump easily won Utah anyway. So that's not a very good way of judging the races in Utah. That's not a good way to judge. Trump in 2016 is not a good number. Similarly, in Georgia, the Georgia 6th, I believe that was the first special election. That was like right up against 2016. That was the first special election in the country. and there was this candidate named John Ossoff, who's kind of very milquetoast and not very exciting. And I'm pretty sure his career is never going to go anywhere. Oh, wait, never mind. But John Ossoff was a weaker candidate compared to Raphael Warnock. And he ended up taking his defeat in that Georgia special election and turning it into a Senate seat. Why was he able to do that? Because he did the thing that's the most important for the Democratic National Party. He raised a lot of money. They gave him another shot, and he was able to pull it off.
In the run-up to a wave election look like? This is 2018. Trump is president. This is the blue wave year. Democrats end up winning 40 House seats. And I mean, look what you were seeing in special elections in 2017 and 2018. Democrats were outperforming by 20 points, by 14 points, by 16 points. 6 of these 8 special elections, Democrats overperformed their presidential level by double digits. So you could see in the special elections heading into 2018 where things were going, because Democrats across the board were just overperforming so much. You look at, again, what I just showed you there in terms of the special elections that we've seen since that Supreme Court decision, they don't fit that pattern at all. So when Democrats start talking about their voters being much more motivated now in the wake of that Supreme Court decision, the political environment changing, this district here, the 19th district in New York, is just a great example. And in fact, one other thing I could just point to, you see there are 2 counties here that went blue in this district. It's Ulster County and it's Columbia County. They're both pretty good-sized counties. Ulster's the biggest in the district. Here's another measure of Democratic enthusiasm. These 2 counties, the only 2 blue counties last night in this district, in the 2020 presidential election, they accounted for 36% of all votes cast in this district. Last night, they accounted for 42% of all votes cast in this district.
What that means is that Democrats are performing at a higher level relative to Republicans, which means Republican passion is down. Republican energy is down. Wow. That's surprising.
So Democrats just proportionally squeezed a lot more votes out of the core Democratic areas of this district.
Oh, we got the official announcement?
That's what we've been seeing in these other special elections where the Democrats have been outperforming. In the Democratic-leaning, Democratic-friendly areas, energy, enthusiasm, turnout among Democrats that dwarfs energy, enthusiasm, and turnout among Republicans. Republicans ran up good numbers in these rural areas here. You see red, but they weren't getting the proportionate level of turnout. That speaks to exactly what Democrats contend has happened nationally since the Supreme Court ruling, that their voters are now more motivated in a way they weren't before, and that, frankly, in a way that Republicans, if you look at these special elections, that Republicans may not be right now. All of that just raises and underscores the question we have been asking now for the last few months about whether you talk about the Senate, you talk about weak Republican recruitment in the Senate, and whether Democrats might actually be able to hold on to the control of the United States Senate, that tenuous control they have right now. And honestly, you start to look at results like this, it would not take much for the Republicans to pick up the House. They only need to pick up a small handful of seats. But if you're a Democrat and you want to say there's a scenario where your party actually maintains control of the House somehow this November, this is exactly the kind of result, and these over the last few months are exactly the kinds of results that you want to be seeing to have an actual chance of putting the House into play.
Percent chance of the Dems keeping the House? I think it's gone up. I'd give them like 35%. Are you watching the stream unsubbed? You're making income inequality worse. You are doing anti-praxis. We are the only Twitch stream that will not accept scam advertisers, and I will never fuck you over by selling you crap